Hello, I'm former journalist and political campaigner Phil Doherty, and this is Politics Unravelled. Please give the video a like and subscribe in the way in, as it helps the channel enormously. Well, another day, another police investigation into the Scottish indie mob. This time it's an investigation, of course, into the whopping 1.5 million potentially stolen from Yes Scotland, the campaign group in the Indy ref, which of course, though they're trying to deny it, was literally headed by the SNP. Well, so far we've had ex-SNP Chief Executive Peter Murrell coughing up to, £400,000 worth of stolen money. And then, of course, there's the other £400,000 from the Indy Ref 2 fundraiser, which was, of course, ring-fenced. That is also missing. So in total, that's at least £2.3 million that is either stolen or illegally misspent or just vanished. And I actually think, Keir, there are people in this country, separatists, who really think that these people, the SNP, are fit in any way, shape or form to run the country. I mean, personally, I wouldn't even trust them with a fate raffle. And with all the revelations that have come out in the press, it's not unreasonable to ask how much thieving has actually gone on within the Scottish government itself. Never mind the SNP party. Now you can almost hear the SNP politicians planning to deny Yes Scotland was really just a front for them. But we all know it was, because that was actually revealed, if you remember, more than a decade ago. Yes Scotland was the SNP, and people within Yes Scotland have admitted this in the newspapers. And the reason why the SNP kept a tight and all the control on it was because of the money. They ran the organisation and they controlled the spend. And so it was the SNP, yet again, that have questions that must be answered. Again, it's the same question. Where's the money? You see, when you actually see a patterns, then that means there's a pattern of behaviour. I mean, this is one of the things that the police are supposed to look for and do. In this case, it's potential theft on a grand scale. And think, these are the people who Scotland voted to have run £1 million government departments. Maybe the police should be looking at there as well. As an aside, I mean, where is the all the money that was given by Westminster to Holyrood to remove all the cladding? Where's that going? I mean, where's the missing £5 billion COVID money that Westminster give to the SNP gone? And what else has the light finger SNP lifted from the public purse on the sly? Okay, I could no proof to any of this, but it does make you wonder. I mean, you can't help wondering, okay, when you've got a party that's as light fingered as the SNP. You see, once trust is actually gone, it's very difficult to get it back. I mean, who in the right minds is going to give the crooked SNP a donation? I mean, you've got to be a complete fool to do that now. How can you trust them? They've already broken the trust and okay of the people who've already given them money. And now, I mean, where is the missing Yes Scotland cash? It went somewhere. It didn't just evaporate into nothing. Someone had the fingers on it. So where is it? £1.5 million, 1/4 of the actual fund. You think on that? As I said, bear in mind that the missing money, alleged missing money at least, £1.5 million, is actually 1/4 of the £6 million that was raised for Yes Scotland during the Indy ref. So it's not just a piddly amount that's just vanished. You know, we're not talking about a few halfpennies and, that's vanished into the back of a drawer here. It's literally 1/4 of the entire fighting fund of the official Yes side. Now, I'm going to be a bit of a clairvoyant here, and I'm going to predict that Westminster is going to take more than a wee interest in all this. I mean, we potentially have the SNP at the centre of serious fraud. Yet again, I mean, the pattern that's been revealed comes with each new revelation. Now, this is just a metaphor, but the SNP is steadily being revealed not as a crime organisation. I mean, pretend to be a political party, the McMafia, with a strict code of omerta, wished for Indy mentality that has actually basically corrupted the entire Yes cause. And by the looks of it, the SNP itself. The SNP is like a fish, a salmon or a sturgeon. It's rotten from the head down. The SNP, of course, will try to claim it has nothing to do with us, Gov. But that will be nonsense. As I said, it has already been revealed years ago that, yes, Scotland was a de facto on the front for the actual party, and it was the party that was in control of it. Even the person who was the head of it, Blair Jenkins, has said this in interviews. And no matter how much the SNP tries to wriggle out of this, I mean, this is another story of potential theft from the separatists. I mean, more money potentially stolen from its own supporters, many of whom we've got to remember are actually pensioners, single parents, struggling families, and those dealing with actual real poverty issues. Yet the SNP seem to think it could just fleece them. But the fact is, it's not just the public eye on the SNP again, in its late-fingered ways. The eye is actually also now on Police Scotland and the Procurator Fair Fiscal, because anything less than a full and thorough investigation, unhindered by SNP politicians issuing secret orders, will it be acceptable to the public or journalists? I mean, there's no getting away from this. If they close it down, okay, and don't do a proper investigation, more questions are going to be asked about the police's impartiality and the influence that the SNP has got over the Procurator Fiscal. So any attempt by the SNP to cover it up, and for the police or the Procurator Fiscal not to do a thorough investigation, dismiss it or try to push it away, it's not going to work. This has only gone beyond the point that any attempt to do so, to push it away, will only add to the idea of political institutional corruption. I mean, Westminster is already investigating, and that is the only sovereign parliament in the UK. To lie to a Westminster inquiry is perjury, a crime. One to add to the pile that the SNP seems to be collecting if it doesn't comply. Now, the eye of the public and the UK government is not just upon the SNP, but it's also upon Scottish Police and the Procurator Fiscal. Questions are being asked about how open they are to political manipulation, and they're not going to really go away. So if they think they can bury their heads in the sand, it'll just go away. This isn't going to go away. Sorry. And no matter how much die-hard denialists holler, scream and stamp their feet, the truth's going to come out eventually. And the SNP will have nowhere to hide, no cover and nothing to blend into. No, it will be exposed to the glaring light of day. Its potential crimes, if they are crimes of course, will be bathed in the spotlight, whether the SNP likes it or not, because this isn't going to go away. In fact, it's only going to get worse, far worse for the SNP.